Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. August 31st already. How in the hell did that happen? Okay. We're going to get started in just a second. Thanks for being here. Just would be grateful if you guys could just give me a quick audio and visual test, as always. Ticker Thursdays this morning. Very good. Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Serge Berger here from thesteadytrader.com. Our morning call. Going to spend the next probably 15 minutes or so going through the market. We are today doing Ticker Thursdays, which basically means on Thursdays we will take tickers that you guys would want to look at. That can be a stock, that can be a commodity, it can be an ETF. Any of that stuff is fair game. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We're going to go through the top few things on my notepad right now. And if you haven't done so yet, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out with being able to get more exposure. Please give us a thumbs up, like in every video you watch. The one here this morning, anything you watch on the website, on our YouTube channel, and so on and so forth. So thank you for all of that. We had a whole bunch of people asking me, when are you finally moving office? The day is still a couple of weeks away, but I just had a morning meeting this morning with my two colleagues. So we'll finally be moving back into our historic office building that has now been renovated. You know, these historic office buildings take a long time to renovate because they have a lot of building codes and historic things that are under protection that you have to respect. So we are going to be moving back in there in September. Just had our final meeting, and so we're really excited because I've been working out of this sort of cagey kind of dungeony kind of. I mean, I have a beautiful view, but I'm in one of those office rental places. A place called Regis. You can rent these like offices, and it hasn't been much fun, to be honest with you. So we're looking forward to going back to the main office, where we'll be able to also have a much better visual the sort of color tone of the office and everything for video purposes will be much better, and hopefully audio even better as well. So that's for those people who are asking. I just made a YouTube short on that for those people that were asking. So anyway, let's get started. What's going on here today? Well, I will tell you that we are kind of squarely in this sort of late summer doldrums. I have yet to figure out, to be honest with you, why in the late part of August things tend to get quiet. Like everyone that's on vacation has taken their vacation. I don't know who's taking vacation. Like people with kids are most likely back because a lot of schools are back. Not every school, but a lot of schools are back to vacation. People without kids, okay, I can understand that, right? You maybe go on vacation now, but everyone that I know that didn't have kids went on vacation. So I've never understood why late August gets this quiet. Maybe Labor Day, but Labor Day is still a while away. So I don't really know it, but the point is, long story short, it is a bit quiet and choppy. And so the first thing I'd like to share with you is just so you can see, it's not just that the equity markets are consolidating, and it's also other markets. Like, for example, I have a couple of stocks I'm going to start off with today, but we just typed up an email to our clients of the Heat Seeker report, which is essentially our very bullish theme on copper and materials and everything that goes into energy. But you can see silver, gold, and copper mining stocks have been very, very dormant. Basically, I mean, for the most part, for more than 2 months now, they're basically just they're mostly just going sideways, right? So I don't see a whole lot of edge here. You know, I think I made it pretty clear here that I sold about 2/3 of my gold position about I think it was in late May or June at some point. I can't remember, somewhere around there. And that's not because I'm bearish gold. And I want to have exposure to gold, so that's why we added it to some of the other portfolios again recently. But it's just not really doing anything, right? So if you were to look at just the absolute chart of gold, let me show you that. It's just not going anywhere, right? So this is the past few weeks. This is a weekly chart. So you can see since April 21st, gold's gone like, I mean, literally nothing, like literally zero. It's just gone sideways. And so I don't need to be in a maximum long gold position if that happens, if I want to be a bit more tactical. So I'm looking forward to adding it back on. I just don't see the odds right quite yet. Now, before we get to stocks, let me just share another point that I just, it's difficult to kind of understate the importance of this. And I'm trying to find the chart. Here's the chart. I made a big deal about this chart. If it wasn't last week, it was the week before. And what you have here is that the two lines in the top are the NASDAQ 100, the QQQ in blue, and then you've got the price of silver. And I could have added more things, but just to kind of make it simple. At the bottom is the price of the chart of the US dollar. And you can see essentially what the rally in silver and NASDAQ stocks largely were a result of was the dollar going lower. So it's the purchasing power for most people hasn't who own the NASDAQ and hopefully silver and things like that hasn't gone down, but it hasn't improved either, right? So because what's been gained on the dollar has been lost, has been gained on being long, let's say NASDAQ, has basically been lost in the dollar's value. So there's a very close inverse relationship. If the dollar were to rally, I would think that we could see equity sell off to some degree. So we'll have to see, but that's one thing I want to point out as well. Now, more to the here and right now, and before we get to some charts, if you look at this part here, just above my face there, there's a little thing called U.S. equity sector, just above my video. If you look at that sector list, I showed it to you guys yesterday morning as well. You can see that once again, for the second day in a row yesterday, tech stocks were for the most part leading lower, and at the and everything else kind of, or almost everything went up as a result, as a, the money that didn't go into, that came out of tech, you could almost argue went into other parts of the market. But because tech is such a, and I've been saying this for years now, because we have such a high concentration, dare I say an over concentration in just a few stocks, particularly in the tech sector itself, mathematically, it's more or less impossible for the regular S&P 500 and the NASDAQ to go up unless tech goes up. Right. And so I think this is something that I know a lot of people still don't really care about. And I get it. It hasn't really mattered. But once it does matter, it's going to take people a long time to actually react to it. And they will tend to give up a lot of their portfolio gains in the meantime. So I just want to point this out again as something that really just I think is critical to be aware of. So when it comes to just, let's say, the regular S&P 500 chart and that kind of stuff, I mentioned this in a video call this morning or yesterday actually to a client. The S&P had broke out back in July. The regular equal weighted S&P, the equal weighted S&P 500 at the top here is still consolidating. Now, could it break out at some point? Yes, but I don't think the equal weighted S&P at the top, the RSP ETF, can break out unless we see not only technology go up, but also the rest of the market go up. So you really need a broadening of the market. And so I'm going to quickly type this in. Someone's asking before. RSP is the ETF for the equally weighted S&P 500. So for those of you that didn't know the ETF, I just typed in the ticker symbol for the equally weighted S&P 500. It looks very bullish. It looks like it could break out, and quite frankly, it may. But make no mistake, it's going to need the entire market to go higher, including tech, mathematically, in order for that to happen. So that's that. Now, let's get to some single name stocks. First of all, I do want to quickly point out, and now I forgot the TJX. And now, so there's a few, that's the wrong, there you go. I'm going to show it to you over here. So there are a few stocks that I'd like to point out that to me are at a point where they're very overbought. One of them is TJX. If you are a gap trader with us, we did a live member session yesterday. We talked about TJX. We did a gap trade, half gap trade in real time yesterday. This is the picture of that. We basically said that the 10-minute break in the morning session should be a short, and it reached the half target right there. But if you take a sort of a zooming out on the TJX, which is TJX companies, TJ Maxx, then what you'll see is that we've reached the upper end of that long-term uptrend. Now, it doesn't mean that the stock has to fall apart from here, but it's quite unlikely to continue to blow higher from here in a linear fashion. So that's the kind of stuff I'm seeing, and this is a pretty broadly owned stock. Our Vertical X Pro indicator, which is our indicator that looks for extremely overbought or oversold stocks, has another one. This is another idea I'd like to show you, and that stock is Fossil Group, so FOSL. And what you're seeing here is that FOSL got extremely oversold. So this is one of those stocks that reacts very well to getting extremely overbought and oversold. So you can see, for example, right now, it's once again getting very overbought. So if history's any guidance, this stock should start to mean revert, either pause or maybe even go back down to, I don't know, $2, $2.50 or something. Last time it got overbought, it went from, which was in December of last year, the stock went from $2.60 all the way down to 88 cents. The last time it got oversold in May of 2023, it went from $1.90 up to $2.90. So, those are big moves, and I just want to point this out again. The stock is once again getting very overbought according to our Vertical X Pro indicator. So that's two ideas that I wanted to share with you. Fossil Group getting very overbought short term. Now, one thing I haven't checked on Fossil, and I should have done before I mentioned this, I want to make sure I know when they report earnings. So let me have a quick look at that. Give me 1 second. Fossil, yeah, so they had their earnings, so we're past that, so now we're waiting for that. So that's Fossil Group. On that. Now let's see what other stocks you guys have to look at. Benito wants to look at SO. If you guys type in, give me the ticker symbols, please let me know a little bit what kind of your thesis is, what the question is. Just giving me a ticker doesn't really help me because I need to be able to address it a little bit with a little bit of context. So Southern Company, first of all, before we look at Southern Company, let's understand what this is. So Southern Company is, just so everyone can kind of understand this a little bit, Southern Company, okay, is a utility stock, right? So just to put this into perspective, so Southern Company is a utility stock. A couple things. Let's see from a trending perspective if there is a trend in Southern Company. So I'm going to type in SO into our market rover, and we can see that from a trending perspective, Southern Company, Benito, is in a bullish trend. The trends are the multi-month, multi-quarter views, right? Multi-year. That's different from momentum. So there is a bullish trend. So that's very nice to know. The question is there short-term momentum? So for that, we go into our trender indicator. I'm going to type in SO, and there is indeed a little bit of momentum. It's been choppy, as you can see here. So let me quickly adjust this so you can see. It's been a bit choppy. So we had a sell signal that didn't work, and now we have a buy signal. I personally, if I want to get bullish Southern Company from a momentum perspective, meaning for like a swing trade, I would like to see the stock hopefully break above $96 or so, because if it breaks above 96, it breaks out of what we call the chop zone. Right now, the stock is in a chop zone, a consolidation period. There's really no edge as far as I'm concerned. So Southern Company, to me, is one that I would be a bit more cautious on here until we break above 96. Hopefully that makes sense, Benito. And any questions, please let me know. Yeah, Boeing is a good one. We actually have Boeing, just so you know, Steve, we actually have Boeing on the market rover as being in a bullish trend, right? So again, that's not the trade, that's the long-term trend, the multi-month, multi-quarter. So that's the context I would like to know. So the odds favor that the stock will continue to go up. But is there short-term momentum? So that's really what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go into our trender indicator. That's the momentum indicator, and see if there is short-term momentum. And I do not see on our indicators yet a momentum signal. You can see the last time we got a momentum buy signal, we reached a free profit target, but there's no new signal to go with, right? So I need to see Boeing give us a momentum buy signal before I can go ahead and actually do that trade. Again, the good news is that on the market rover, meaning our trend following algorithm, there's a bullish trend. That's great to know, but there's no real momentum in the stock right now using our measurements in order to trade this. The stock this morning is up a little bit, like 1.5%. really nothing major in the context of a swing trade. So again, I need to see the stock give us a bullish momentum move. Right now, there is still an existing one, but there's no fresh momentum that would get me into a trade from here right now. Then we had a few people ask us about Nvidia. So let me give you guys a little bit of perspective on what's going on with Nvidia. Now, first of all, to understand about Nvidia, this is obviously important. The company Nvidia is set to report earnings this coming week, specifically on the 27th of August. So that's next week. And Nvidia is, believe it or not, actually just barely entered a new bullish trend. However, from a momentum perspective, and I think that's what people are typically kind of out for when they look for the swing trades, we still have, I should have brought this down, we still have a bullish momentum move taking place. So the momentum move that started in April at the buy signal remains in place. I personally, just so you guys know, I personally have a little bit of an option spread on. I'm going to be taking that one off probably, if not today or tomorrow, early next week. I, as a general rule, do not hold swing trades through earnings reports. And for that reason, I will let myself be surprised and see what the stock does. The one thing I will point out with Nvidia is that there is we had 2 days ago, the first time since basically April, the price of Nvidia closed below that purple line. That purple line has an important meaning to us using our momentum indicator. And that purple line, you can see, has been holding as support. And even though we bounced off the lows yesterday, we haven't been able to get back above that purple line, but we broke below it on a daily closing basis now for 2 days in a row. So again, earnings coming up next week. I quite frankly think at this point we have to wait it out until after earnings in the stock, but I did want to point that out. So hopefully this is helpful, everybody. I look forward to seeing everyone over in Trade Ops. Again, I quite frankly expect this to be, if not boring, at least sort of uneventful, unless we get news, of course, of some sort that I can't foresee here over the next couple of days. But I would imagine that we're going to wait until Jackson Hole tomorrow, which is typically a total snooze. Who knows if that's once again the case today, tomorrow. But I just think we have to be a bit patient here for things to pick up a bit in terms of volatility. But again, we're starting to see some stocks get a bit weaker. Not enough for me to panic, but certainly something I want to be aware of and hedge my portfolio, or at least my trading book a little bit in the short term. So hopefully that's helpful to everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Please give us a thumbs up, please subscribe to the channel. Be aware, be on the lookout for video vlogs and educational stuff, and even some fun stuff on our YouTube Shorts and extensive video blogs here on our YouTube channel. So please make sure you subscribe, totally free. But we are, pretty quickly gaining some pretty good followings here on YouTube as well. So we're going to continue to do our best to educate you, give you good ideas through the lens of education, and also have some fun along the way. So thanks for being here. Please give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you real soon. Take care.